60th birthday at Smokin' Mocan Dragway, and we've got a nitro-fueled party you can't miss. Friday night and Saturday, July 15th and 16th. Join us for Nitro Chaos. It's a header flaming showdown for $35,000 in prize money. Plus, meet the legend himself, special guest Big Daddy Don Garland, and see his Swamp Rat 12 Fueler burn nitro both nights under the lights. Visit MocanDragway.com for more info, and we'll see you July 15th and 16th at Mocan's 60th birthday bash. Nitro dragsters, alters, and funny cars of all kinds from all across the country are ready to rumble, and you gotta be there. This event is presented by DMP Onyx, Twisted Shifters, 360 Steel, Wulff Pumps, D's Nuts, Lug Nuts, and CCAgency.com.
And just like that funny car, we're ready to fire off right here on Chaos Live. Yours truly, Lee Craft, the Monday Morning Racer. Next to me, David Rattan, the voice of Chaos. Welcome to each and every one of you for what we hope will be another great installment of Chaos Live. David, how's it going?
Man, it's going great, buddy. I have just spent the last couple of days enjoying my Father's Day gift from my youngest child, some of the best steaks I've ever had in my life. And so I'm still basking in the glow of the fruits of the grill.
Nothing wrong with a good steak. That's a good Father's Day gift for sure. Well, we were also given another great Father's Day gift to all the fathers out there and to all of those that are drag racing fans, because we had a stellar event at Cordova International Dragway, and that first-time visit for Funny Car Chaos to that storied facility, and we were able to accomplish something, Chris Graves and his promotion, that was historic in its nature as well.
It was. That was a very fun weekend, and it was historic in a lot of ways, in that it was the return of the Summer Nationals. Of course, that racetrack has been around since the mid-'50s and has more history than many racetracks. They've got a great staff. They've got new ownership that fully understands and appreciates the history and the heritage of the place, as they've been a part of it for a long time. And goodness, they rolled out the red carpet for the racers, for the fans, for the sponsors, for everybody. And having Funny Car Chaos there for our first time in the exhibition, with everything from the jets competing with the regular funny cars to all the different classes that they run there. Just the layout of the place and the fact that it was such a big crowd. It was really a phenomenal time there, and we really loved it. We had some firsts. We had some first-time winners. We had of course, the dragsters racing the regular funny cars. Mentioning that again, that was rather cool, and it was very interesting to see how well that fit into the program, and the fans loved it. I loved it. I mean, I got the chance to experience a lot of really spectacular things up there. Cordova really does it right, and we hope to be back there. We hope to be back there again. But boy, that was a tremendous trip the whole way. I mean, from the ride up there and back to all the things that took place at the races, and of course, just closing it out with some great final rounds. It was a really thrilling weekend, the Father's Day weekend, as you mentioned. But what a way to kick things off as we return to the great state of Illinois, and it was terrific in every way.
Man, David, it was terrific for sure in every way. Mike Nelm says it was cool to see jet funny cars run against each other funny car, and I mean, that's one of those historic moments. We did get it confirmed by Brett Kepner himself. I heard that through Chris Graves, that this was the first time that jets in elimination style, not just match racing, not just jet against jet, but against their piston-powered brethren that have a flop top on them, that this happened and it occurred. And it was a cool thing to see. And for everyone that said that something like that could not be done, well, shut your mouth. It can be. It is accomplished. For everyone that said that, nobody would get along doing it, well, shut your mouth. I think everybody got along in doing it. And we got done with it, and we even had one make it to the final, which was fascinating to see in the final of the B field. You've got a kerosene burner and a methanol burner going down the drag strip. So what a stellar show it was all around for sure.
It was, and the show was phenomenal on the racetrack, but that you get a chance to see things up there with in the vendor midway. Of course, Twisted Shifters and 360 Steel really brought a lot of added things to the event with the get together on Thursday night, and of course they had their display set up there for people to see, and we had Arnie the Farmer Beswick there, and of course Dean Fate, one of the guys at the that announces there at Cordova Dragway, has done the book in conjunction with Arnie Beswick, and I've been reading that since I got back. And so people had a chance to shake hands and meet and get autographed copies of that book there at Cordova from Arnie Beswick. What a fascinating story. And of course, our normal vendors were there, making sure that people had plenty of opportunities to take away a memento of the occasion. But it was absolutely phenomenal. Even the weather was so great. The day before was like 95 degrees and muggy, and the 2 days of racing was in the 80s and very, very nice. I mean, I say it all the time, the good Lord loves some funny car racing, and we definitely had everything. It was just picture perfect in almost every respect. And so, man, I can't say enough about the welcome and the fans. They're very knowledgeable about funny cars and about the history of drag racing. So, they've got a great event coming up there later this year as the World Series will. But happy to have been there and have been a part of what was a great show, hopefully the first of many. Yeah, David Doffett and his cars were there. One of them into the final, the Black Pearl. I mean, it was just couldn't have been better. Could not have been better.
Well, I know to make this show right now in the present that much better, we need to get to our guests tonight. We got one of them lined up. Tonight we're going to have Brian Inaway, driver of the Frantic Fueler front engine dragster, and then Marc White later on. We'll be chatting with him, the driver behind Drastic Plastic, both winners in their own right. Brian won in the B field at Nitro Chaos at Eddyville just earlier this year, and Marc White got the job done at Cordova, the event we've been talking about, in the Drastic Plastic machine. So, David, let's take the time, go to a break or two, and come back, and we're going to get Brian on and chat with him about the win at Eddyville and the upcoming event at Mocan.
This will be fun.
Check out Twisted Shifters for the largest selection of made-in-the-USA custom shift knobs and adapters. Made for muscle cars, old and new, hot rods to race cars, and for the big rigs. With our original shift toppers adapter for the air shifters to use any threaded shift knob like the old days. Add custom lettering and logos to make it your own custom shift knob. TwistedShifters.com. We are made in America and we ship worldwide.
Well, Brian, look, thank you for that onboard footage right there with you behind the wheel, trying to run down your competitor ultimately for a win there at Nitro Chaos Eddyville. Congratulations once again, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on as well.
Man, I tell you what, you were busy in your office there in that final round, weren't you? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we had struggled a little bit all weekend. We have a new engine combination. We had moved to a more modern bore and stroke, so we went to the 4.5-inch stroke and the 4187 bore, like all the big show, Top Fuel, and funny car guys run now. It's easier to source parts and tune up and whatnot. We had a rough go at it last Nitro Chaos, wrecked 2 short blocks, so we had a brand new engine combination coming into this race. Still trying to figure it out. It had shook the tires in Q1 and Q3, I believe. So going in the final round, sort of knew that this might be a scenario. Usually try to drive one-handed. It's something I'm trying to work on, but just going into that final round, knew I'd probably have to drive with 2 hands. So, staged it, hit the gas, and right about 40, 45 feet out, it shook the tires pretty hard and sort of pitched the car pretty hard to the left, and that's when I had to get out of it, crank the wheel to the right, let it sort of settle down, stab the gas again, and it just shook the tires again. Luckily, it's going fairly straight, so got back on it the third time, and it was shaking harder the third and fourth time going through the lights, even harder than when it shook about 40, 45 feet out. So, yeah, it was pretty busy, and luckily we got it all figured out at the end.
Yeah, it was wild, and it was a great show. So often we get involved in numbers and laps, times, and speeds, and because everything just goes straight down the racetrack. But this one had that very much old school feel, and of course in a Nitro Chaos type event, it's a bit nostalgic. And of course you've got the Slingshot Top Fuel Dragster, which is completely a throwback to the 70s and 60s. How long have you been behind the wheel of that fuel dragster, and what is it like compared to anything else that you've driven before?
Yeah, so I got my modern A-Fuel dragster license in 2018, and then I was presented with this opportunity to drive. I believe we went testing last summer, 2021. We had some things planned in 2019, but just the weather never worked out for us. So come last year, I got the test, and it's a completely different driving experience from the rear engine A-Fuel deal. So it's pretty cool. Obviously, you can't see much going down the track. It's total apples and oranges, I tell people.
Oh, I can imagine, and that's you took the boss man's seat from that. The owner of the race car used to drive it, and now he's turned it over to you.
Yeah, so Dave Donheimer, fabricator of the car, crew chief and owner, him and his wife Betsy. I believe they first started running that car in the late 90s, early 2000s. So they've been match racing it everywhere in the U.S. for the last 20 years, and very thankful for them to give me this opportunity to drive it. It's a great car. It's a beautiful car. Obviously, I've said in the last interview that it's a well-engineered car. Inherently, Top Fuel front-end dragsters, they're just inherently dangerous to drive, but it's nice to know that you get to drive that quality of car. It's you don't have to worry about that, so it makes my job a little easier. But yeah, and also that final round was the first time I've ever driven at night in the front engine car, so that was pretty cool to see all the header flames.
Whoa, what? Like ever in that car?
Yep. Every unfortunately, just so happens because we wrecked a short block last year, and then we ran into some problems after Q1 at this last event. We never got to make the night passes of Q2 on Friday, so that final round was the first time I ever drove that car at night, and it was pretty wild.
I imagine so. I bet you're like, oh, eyes adjust, please.
Yeah. As soon as I stood on the gas, I knew that car would shoot header flames, but with this new combination and the percentage we run, 95, 96%, the camshaft timing events, it shoots some pretty steady and pretty awesome header flames.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful sight to see. Now, you didn't just kind of stroll up one day to the drags and get a seat in a slingshot nostalgia Top Fuel dragster, and you and your family have a lot of history. So, for those that don't know, tell us about your family heritage in racing and kind of where you've been all these years, as we're really getting a chance to know Brian these days.
Yeah, so I'm related to the Haradas. So Dave and Kenny Harada. Kenny started racing in the 50s and 60s. Had a Top Fuel car briefly in the 70s. His son Dave, he started racing A Fuel in the late 90s, and that's when I was a kid, and I've been going ever since he started. So I've been able to work on A Fuel cars since the late 90s up until now. So I've always been at the track. Very thankful I got to learn about these cars. I think it helps make you a better driver if you've worked on them for a while. You sort of understand the mechanics and what's right, what's wrong, what feels right and wrong. So that sort of gave me a pretty big head start as far as driving, even though I've just started recently driving.
So you hung around at the racetrack with the family racing operations over the years, helped out, probably doing little stuff, and then maybe having bigger roles over the years?
Exactly. Yep. Probably just started out as a kid, putting body panels on, cleaning parts, and up until now, I'm pretty much a car chief on the car. So, like I said, I think it just makes you a better driver if you understand the car front to back and you worked on them for a while. And my dad, he drove Pro Comp, which was NHRA before they had the two top alcohol funny car classes, and that involved into top alcohol dragster, which he drove for a while. So he drove and he worked on them. So I'm just very fortunate to learn from a lot of pretty experienced people.
Absolutely. Well, you have been to both Nitro Chaos events, and we're first of all thankful for that. Just excited that you and the Frantic Fueler team have been there for all it. Last year, it was kind of the year that, if only you had kind of that if only moment.
Yeah, that's I think that's one of the coolest things about these Nitro Chaos races or funny car chaos races is last year everyone could have pointed out that Scott Palmer came and he's got a big show Top Fuel car, and I think even a lot of racers thought he was just going to come in and clean house, but I think the cool thing is tracks like Eddyville or Mocan, and it's not a dig or it's not a put down, but a lot of times the track is an equalizer, and it just makes for really good, unpredictable racing, which is great for everyone. So I think that's one of the coolest things. Unlike, NHRA, maybe that, they have pretty, maybe not predictable outcomes, but you have a feeling who has a good chance to win, who doesn't. Here in Nitro Chaos, it's a toss-up, and I think that makes some of the best racing. Where else are you going to see a Top Fuel front-end car race a fuel alter or fuel funny car or anything else, or a big show fuel funny car? So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is that, and thanks for being a part of it. So after you get the big win, and Frantic Fueler in the winner's circle and the media hype that goes with that, what was the celebration like for the team, and what kind of response have the fans had for you?
Yeah, biggest thing was, especially after that final round, just wanted to drop the pan, make sure the rods weren't hanging out of the side of the block, especially after something like that. So just did a quick service on the car and got everything packed up. It was pretty cool. It was a nice validation for a lot of our hard work over the last few weeks. The guys, Dave and Betsy, Scott Anderson, Paul, Jim, Timmy, Bradley, and especially my dad, they've all been working at the shop. They all live closer to the shop than I do. So I really have to thank them because they do, 95, 98% of the work. And I sort of have the easy job. I work on a car, but, I just drive it. So really have to thank them. And it was a nice validation and celebration for them for all their hard work.
Now, have you been to Mocan before?
I've never stepped foot on the property, so I'm pretty excited.
Oh, we're excited for this too, because
you guys have any tips or tricks for me?
I don't. Dave might. I haven't been either. It's going to be my first visit too, so I'm looking forward to it as well.
Well, I'll relate. You may have seen this, but somebody was talking about maybe turning the wick down to get down the track at Mocan. Well, Will Hanna said if you're turning it down, you're turning that knob the wrong direction. So Carl and his team with Craig and Mike and all the guys and gals at Mocan, they'll have a track prepped for you that you can put some power to the ground, and so you guys will figure it out very, very, very quickly based on what you've already seen at Eddyville. And well, that brings up another question to me is, you mentioned in the late teens there that you guys had some plans, but I think you said the weather didn't work out very well for the places that you had scheduled. And so I know we've seen you at Nitro Chaos a couple of times. Where else do you race? And how many meets have you been to where you guys are having a chance to gel as an organization?
Yeah, so in late 2019, we were just going to go test at a track in Illinois called Byron Dragway. I think we tried to go there twice, and both weekends were just rained out. We just wanted to bring the car back out and test some new stuff. And just, like I said, unfortunately, the weather never worked out. And with the pandemic in 2020, there wasn't a whole lot planned. And then Nitro Chaos came around last year, and it was a perfect venue to run that car at.
All right. Well, I'm glad we're having two this year, and we can get to see you guys at both of them. I'm looking forward to it, Lee.
Man, it's going to be another great show. It's such a fascinating combination that you get to see the front engine dragsters come out along with funny cars and along with the altereds. And by the way, remember, and Brian, you might not want to line up against Megan Meyer coming up at Nitro Chaos.
Does anyone have a current car count? Yeah, it sounds pretty exciting. I think
I think 19, 20 last time.
There's 19 on the list, and there's been a call out made to the War Wagon. And
I just saw what Lee posted. That's pretty exciting. You got two lineups, Q1 and Q2 for the War Wagon.
Yeah. And so that would be 20. And so it's going to be a dogfight just to get in the show.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, that's the type of racing we all want. We want to run heads up as fast as we can. So that's exciting.
Right, because it's a different flavor than just match racing and going out and doing that. There's certainly an element in match racing where, all right, we need to get paid. We need to put on a good show. Let's make sure we have that third run out of 2 out of 3, type of situation.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's sudden death at Nitro Chaos. You need to turn a wind light on to go to the next round, just like any other competition within drag racing. So, yeah, man, Brian, look, while we've got you here, we're talking about people who've made call-outs. You got any call-outs? Qualifying? Round
I know
one?
currently I haven't thought about it too much. Still trying to get this combination figured out, but, maybe in the next week or so, something will shape up as it did the last race.
Yeah, you be on the outlook, man. You're the winner. I'm sure somebody's out there like, you know what? Let's take a shot at Brian.
And that was pretty cool. Ryan Hill called us out, and that sort of started as a joke, but it turned pretty serious. And not saying we were the first, but it sort of seemed to spawn a lot of this here. So that was pretty cool.
It did. It spilled over even to the Funny Car Chaos event at Cordova, and you've got Jordan Ballou, Dry Hop King, calling out like every jet funny car on the property, and you've got Heel.
Yeah, in what world would you ever imagine that happening?
Right.
Man, this has been fun, and we cannot wait to see you and you and the team back making your first trip to Mocan. The Mocan crowd. I'll tell you this, Brian. The crowd at Mocan, they will blow your mind. So get ready for them because they are great drag racing fans. You'll have more people at your pits than you've ever seen, probably, and they will be excited that you're there, just like we're excited to have you on this show. But Mocan is its own experience, and of course, it's 60 big years of heritage, and which will make it a lot like Cordova in a way. But this is going to be a good one. So this will be one of those races that you're probably going to be really excited that, that you were. The hype is the race will live up to the hype. That's
how
it goes.
I don't doubt it one bit. I thought Eddyville always had a good turnout. Especially for this only being 2 years into this. I thought it was a great turnout. I'm really looking forward to MoCan.
Well, Brian, look, great to have you on. High praise from Scott Palmer, says my favorite up-and-coming racer. Brian is the real deal, and we certainly
Scott Palmer's my hero. As long he's everyone's hero, but he's definitely my hero.
Well, get a fire suit with a cape like him, okay, and start wearing that. I expect to see it. So, Brian, look, thank you for the time, man, and enjoy. Well, you're coming from Mexico City, right? In Mexico.
Yeah, I'm down here for some engineering work, so I'll return in a week or so and get ready for the race.
All right. Well, thank you, Brian.
Well, thank you for having me on. It was a great honor.
We'll see you at the races, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Bell Paving Services provides professional customer service and performance for your next industrial or large-scale private paving project. From parking lots, roads, and driveways to seal coat, chip seal, concrete, and asphalt, there's no job too big for the team at Spell Paving Services. Serving a 500-mile radius from Dallas-Fort Worth, Spell Paving Services has you covered. Call 214-384-3056 to get a competitive quote today and tell them the Chaos sent you.
So, David, in reference to MoCan, Wesley Darter says, War Wagon is sleeping peacefully, but is very close to being woke for that event. So, folks, let's pitch in, help out, get them to MoCan. We want to see every call-out come to fruition. Jody Austin calling out the War Wagon. Jody Austin, winner of Nitro Chaos A Field there in Eddyville as we go into, David, what is going to be a great event, maybe the biggest Nitro Chaos of the short time it's been around, this third one, MoCan's 60th anniversary, and it is a situation where we got some of the biggest names coming out, most recent, and legends of the sport. So break it down for us, man. We've got a lot to look forward to at MoCan.
Oh, we do so much. Brian gave us a great segue into that, talking about all of the things that you can expect at MoCan, with asking about car count, and of course the call out of the War Wagon. I think I'm thinking and I'm hoping that little post there from Wesley is that they will be there to answer those calls, and that's one of those things. Be careful what you wish for, but I tell you what, we've got two good call outs. And of course, one of the things that we really wanted to mention to everybody is that not only do we have superstars of today, but we have superstars of all time. Big Daddy Don Garlits is going to be the Grand Marshal of the event coming up at MoCan for the Nitro Chaos event. And of course, he's there's no bigger name in the history of drag racing than Big Daddy Don Garlits. And he has a history of racing at MoCan, as over the years, he's been there probably half a dozen times, sometimes in, most of the time in match racing, but he's actually bringing, I believe it's Swamp Rat 12 that will be cackling both nights. And of course, the opportunity will exist to meet Don Garlits, and he's great with the fans. And if you see the videos of him telling stories of the old days down at the museum, and of course, what a visionary to create that museum down there in Ocala, and to have it building it out in the boonies, to have that exit actually become a destination for so many people. But Large Father will be there, and it's going to be great to get a chance to see him interacting with the fans right there in Southwest Missouri. I mean, a great track celebrating 60 years, and and some the return of Big Daddy Don Garlitz as the Grand Marshal of the event. And of course, he's been involved in match racing there before with Les Shockley's Jet Dragster and Gene Snow in Top Fuel, and then several times with Benny the Wizard of Oz, with Benny Osborne, the famous Oklahoma racer that was always a very, very big name in Top Fuel back from the 60s especially. And so that's going to be a blast. We've also got word that $1 Million Baby driver Marvin Graham might be there. Billy Graham. And the call outs. Plus, we've got the wheel stander is going to be there, the oldest pilot of a wheel stander. And of course, wheel standers is not something that you see very often. At my very first drag race, they had two. They had the Hurst Hemi Underglass and had it was a Chevelle G-body. There we go. Got my G-body shirt on tonight. And it was a Chevelle called the Moonshot. And they were in in a side-by-side match there. And Ray Moats, Gary Wheeler Jr. says Ray Moats may be there. And then, I just see that there. War Wagon will be there. So, Brian, the number's 20. Shane Ferris, the War Wagon will be there. So that's great news for absolutely everybody. And so the call-outs will be acted upon. This is going to be a big event. This is going to be so much fun to experience this. And, of course, we want to say thanks to DMP Awnings for being the title sponsor of this event. And, of course, Wulff Pumps sponsoring that $10,000 to win A field, and D's Nuts the $5,000 to win B field. There's plenty of money on the line. There is a great lineup of incredible cars and supporting classes as well. But this is going to be, this has the potential to be the best one yet. And we are looking forward to experience it live and in person at Mocan Dragway.
Yes, I'm so thankful to be a part of the Chaos Nation and to do what I'm doing within it now, because I think it's got some of the best drag racing around. And Chris Graves, Tara Graves, and everyone involved has come up with drag racing dreams coming true. And something about the two first Nitro Chaos is, I'm sure that many of the competitors, many of the spectators have left, and I know us in the media world have been saying, wow, this event would be perfect for an A-fuel dragster. Where have they been? And that is about to change. And we're going to get the two-time NHRA champ, Megan Meyer herself, back behind the wheel. She's going to be at Eddyville for Night of Fire, I believe, this weekend. But she's going to come not just for match racing, but be competitive. Try to go round by round and win some money, I'm certain, in that Wulff Pumps A field in her Randy Meyer Racing A field dragster. So it's going to be interesting to see that vehicle that we've all said that is the one that this event is perfect for, does show up and show out in the performance.
Yeah, Lee, there's only two kind of people in the world. There's those that love Nitro Chaos, and there's those that haven't been yet. And that's it.
Yes.
And so we're getting the first of the A-fuel dragsters coming to Nitro Chaos. And, of course, there's a few other Nitro groups that have not yet chosen to test the water. But after this one, it's on.
It is. I think it has continued to build and continue to grow, and this event with the big names that we're going to have at it and the setting that Mocan is, it is going to be a stellar event. I don't care where cancel the wedding, cancel the baby coming, just whatever, just stop it. Get to Mocan Dragway there in, I believe, Asbury, Missouri, wherever that is, and enjoy some drag racing, and it's all nitro burners. You have got to be there for sure.
Yeah. For those, now calm down there, Lee. We don't want to cancel weddings, maybe postpone.
Whatever you got to do to get to Mocan, you get there. You get there.
Oh, shoot.
So Also, Chris definitely wanted us to mention this, and I think this is a cool deal about Copeland race cars. They're apparently even going to be competing in the event, but they've got a free nitro bonus going on, David. What's that all about?
Well, it's just another one of our grassroots racing organizations stepping up to make it, times are not what they were not too long ago, and things more expensive to get down the road. So you're gonna have to help me with the details on this one, because it's kind of slipped my mind, but it's just another one of our phenomenal grassroots organizations stepping up with to help make it possible for our Nitro Chaos competitors to get there and to race and to bring that show that we've all come to expect.
So this program, this bonus, how it works, a free drum of nitro will be awarded to the closest loser in round one of the A and B field. So if you lose by the dreaded .00 whatever, you may very well get a free drum of nitro. Rather nice consolation prize for getting kicked out of the program so closely.
That it is. That stuff does not come cheap anymore, and so very, very appreciative of the bonus that has been made available. So that's one of the things about all things that Chris and Tara are involved with. They make sure that it's not one person leaving the race with all the loot. They not only pay pretty big, but they pay deep and they pay wide. You have a lot of people leaving there with money and more than just a consolation prize.
Yes, and also not a huge upfront cost to get through the gate either, as many other series will charge very large amounts for their racers and crew to come through the door. That's not the case at Nitro Chaos and at Funny Car Chaos. Very reasonable to the racer to even roll in on the property.
Yeah, that's right. It's about racing and it's about having fun, and we certainly got things going well in both of those areas. The racing, we talked about. You could tell Brian was very excited about the racing and getting to see those candles lit, for the first time behind the wheel. That and you'll see a lot of that coming up at the MoCan 60th anniversary event with Nitro Chaos. Cannot wait to see this.
Well, David, we've got Marc White, the driver of Drastic Plastic, in the studio, ready to bring him on. So we're going to take a break, ladies and gentlemen. Right after that, the A field winner at Cordova, wheeling the Drastic Plastic funny car. We're going to be talking with him. That is Marc White right after the break. And when we take this break, I need you all to hit the like button, hit the share button, and also dive in that comment section and let us know. Let us have any questions you might have for myself, David, or Mark coming up. Marc White next. If I can find the commercial. And the winner at Cordova, the A field, Marc White. Welcome to Chaos Live.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Man, it's great to see you on here and just reliving those highlights from the Summer Nationals at Cordova. Man, that's got me going. I can't wait to get back in the tower and see it all happen again. But you've been seeing chaos since day number one, as you were in 2017 at the very first Funny Car Chaos event there ever was. And so if you would take us back to that one first and kind of tell the audience about how you got involved with chaos.
Well, I was driving Frank Ousley's Crop Duster Nostalgia Funny Car, and Frank just likes to race, and I just like to race. So chaos looked like an awesome thing to do. So we drug it down to Denton and ran the first ever chaos and just had a great time. We started building, the nostalgia funny car thing kind of in the Midwest kind of went away, and it was all transferring over to big pump cars. So we started building basically a big show car with a fuel altered body and a big show funny car body. And we were going to run chaos and match races. And then some things changed with Frank and the car got sold. But we had more fun at the first funny car chaos race than we probably had anywhere. So I always wanted to get back into it, but it was just circumstances prevented it until I got to drive Tom's car.
Yeah, and so Denton is a place that I had seen Drastic Plastic before, and there was someone else behind the wheel there. But having you in that car now, how long have you been driving it? And I think we've kind of seen you guys progress in a huge way at Cordova.
Yeah. Yes. After Frank's deal went away, COVID hit. It was almost impossible for somebody like me that doesn't own a race car and just, wants to get involved with somebody to find a ride. So I was honestly about ready to say this, it's over, I'm done. And I decided to take one last shot, and I emailed everybody I knew that had a race car that had, per se hired drivers. And Tom called me and wanted me to run his car up at a match race in New York State at the end of last year. And I had been out of a car for almost 3 years. So we ran that and kind of got our feet wet. It was a new car to Tommy with the John Force Racing chassis. And we ran another race last year at Martin, Michigan, but we had just anything that could go wrong did go wrong that weekend. But over the winter, he figured out what was going on and spent a lot of time working on his combination, which Tommy's been doing this a long time. I mean, we're seniors, me and him. So he's been doing this from the 70s, and I'm not too far behind him. So we went to Eddyville, and we ran good. We kind of missed it first round and brought it home and looked at it again to see what we did. And we had some phone calls, and he told me what he thought happened. And we put that into play at Cordova, and everything just kind of started clicking.
Yeah, it did.
Kind of. Yeah.
223 and 224 miles an hour, 358 and 361. Yeah, it was clicking, and it was fun. Now, you'd been out of the seat for a while, but I'm guessing it obviously came back to you really, really well. But did you was it fun seeing those kind of like the headlights from the header flames again as you're heading down the track?
Tom's car is the first car I've ever driven that makes header flames like that. Nostalgia cars make little baby flames, most of them. But Tom's car is it's a bonfire outside the windows. So yeah, it's cool. It shakes, it makes noise, it rattles. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It looks great on camera. Like, it needs to be in every highlight reel. The header flames over the roof, and I think it's a good looking car. The yellow and the black and the blues and the reds in there. It is for sure an interesting vehicle in the natural world. And look, Drastic Plastic, how did they come up with that? Do you know the history behind that? I haven't heard.
I actually asked them about it. There was a radio station in Chicago way back when, and they had the Drastic Plastic hour where they played a certain kind of music. Records at the time, when they still used records, were plastic, vinyl, whatever. So it was the Drastic Plastic. He thought, well, that's a cool name for a race car. So that's what it's been, and it's been that way ever since. It'll never change.
Okay.
Why change a great name like that? And of course, you know, you mentioned that Tom has got all kinds of history as they are kind of almost invincible over the years with the altered. And now, is this a transformer? You guys can go back and forth with it. Mark, is this car? Oh, is he frozen, Lee?
He might have froze. Yes, it is possible. Mark, can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Oh, he's moving. He's trying to find a signal.
We're kind of having, I don't know if it's me or you.
We can hear you again.
Yeah. Well, I was asking about that. Can you hear us now? Ruh-roh.
Uh-oh. All right, so I'm going to kick Mark from the studio. I'm not trying to be rude, folks. This is just what happens when you're live. Technical difficulties, it does happen. So we'll let Mark come back in and see if the signal gets better. Mark, can you hear us now?
All right, let's try this again.
There you are. Is your car now, the Drastic Plastic over the years, mostly known as a fuel altered, is yours now a transformer? Do you switch it back and forth, or is it primarily funny car now?
No, we actually, Tom has a new version of the Anglia body that is, we made some modifications to the body that he wanted to do, and him and our car chief, Bill Savickas, they've been working on it pretty much all winter, and they're tinning it, and it's mounted, but they're doing the tin work, and we'll have the Drastic Plastic fuel altered out soon.
All right, great. Well, that's going to be a thrill to see it in fuel altered trim as well. But that was a monster, just the monster of the midway, so to speak, in the world of fuel altered racing. So you mentioned that you've been doing this almost as long as Tom has. You said he was 70s, and you weren't far behind that. And I always love finding out the heritage of our racing, our racers. So, you know, bring us up to speed on how you got started, and you know how you got all the way through the years to sitting behind the butterflies of a Nitro funny car.
I'll make this short because this will be a real long story because I'm old. I grew up in New Jersey, about 45 minutes from Englishtown, and we used to go down there and watch races when I was a teenager, and then started building, you know, door cars, and I ran Comp Eliminator, and then my best friend moved out to Chicago and started running Top Fuel, so he called me and said, "Do you want to go racing?" So I left New Jersey and moved to Chicago and ran Top Fuel. We did that for about 3 or 4 years. Had a good time. Ran out of money eventually. I think it was 1985. Frank Hawley opened the drag racing school, and I wanted to drive. So I scrounged up enough money to go down and run the school, and was actually the first person to get a license at Hawley's. He got me my first alcohol funny car ride, and then that just progressed into getting, you know, one ride would end for whatever reason, and I'd get another ride, and I've been the most fortunate guy in the world because I've been able to race, you know, funny cars since 1985. And other than having a helmet and a fire suit, that's basically all I have is that, and, you know, get to get involved with people that have race cars and allow me to be a part of their team.
Wow, David, that's living a dream now.
Oh yeah. I'm blessed. That's all there is to it. I'm blessed.
Now you're kind of a lot of times in terms of coming from place of residence to a racetrack, you almost always a candidate for long distance award because you're not stateside.
No, well, sometimes I am. Like right now, I'm in Kissimmee, Florida, but we do spend half the year. My wife is originally from Guatemala, So we have a home in Guatemala, and we spend 5 or 6 months a year in Guatemala, usually in the off season, because it's a little easier for me to travel from Florida to go racing than it is Guatemala. But if I had to, I'd find a way to do it. But yeah, I'm up for long distance awards, that's for sure.
Yeah, down in Guatemala, that's where Marvin Rodak gets some of his coffee beans, and so he's.
It's awesome down there. It's a really nice place to live. It really is. It's peaceful and relaxing and gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh, so I hear. Well,
so
how much will we get to see you this year?
Well, I don't really know. I'm leaving Friday morning for Toronto to run a match race at Toronto Motorsports Park. And then we come back, and I think in a week or two, we go to Grand Bend, Ontario, and run a race up there. We have a couple of match races that we're going to do in New York State. And I don't know how much chaos stuff we can hit. I mean, we all like it. The whole team enjoys it a lot. It's such an awesome, laid back, fan-friendly place to race. It's just, I mean, we feel like, they treat us like gold. The people that are there to watch, they enjoy what we do. And I mean, we ran out of handouts at Cordova, and we had just gotten an order. So they were into it. But I can see more chaos stuff in our future. It's just, we had kind of a schedule set up this year, and it might overlap a little, but something may come up. Who knows? Yeah. Better the car runs, the more chances we got to go in places. So right now, I'd say chances are looking good.
I'd say I'd be wanting to run as often as I could, the way you ran at Cordova.
I'd run every week if I could, but I think my wife would run me out of the house. Nah, she's awesome. She knows I love this, and she, puts up with the travel, and I'm gone, and she supports me 100%. So without her, I couldn't do it.
Lee, I cut you off there a minute ago. What were you asking?
Oh wow, what was I asking? It's escaped me for,
okay.
Just
for sure. Make something up.
Yeah, make something. Yeah,
just make something up.
Now, Mark, I can tell you, I understand that my wife doesn't get to travel with me very much. Hopefully, that will change in the near future. But she's very, very supportive. So, I know that you appreciate all the support you get from home. And all your fans and all of us at Chaos appreciate her too, for making that sacrifice of you being away, so we get to see y'all do what you do so well.
Yeah, it takes a lot to be, married or involved with a drag racer. There's a lot of things we miss, and it takes somebody pretty special to realize how important it is for us. Tom's wife, Sue, she goes to every race with us, and Bill's wife, Ann, she comes every once in a while to the races. I'm trying to drag my wife to one of them, but it's difficult.
Well, she'll find friends there, because as you've already mentioned, Chaos is all about the fun, and it's very, very family friendly. Hey, 358 and 224. Is that as quick as you've been in the 8th mile, or was that or was it even close?
Wasn't even close. That's way quicker than I've been in the 8th. I think my alcohol car went 207 or 208 to the 8th, but this thing was just pulling along. And in the final, our race next weekend is a 1/4 mile, so I drove it a little farther because we wanted to look at the motor after it. So I drove it to 1,000 foot, and I wish I had a mile an hour there, because it was still pulling.
Well, that was a thrill then. If that was, 16 miles an hour faster than you've been to the 8th mile before, and it was still pulling and still setting you back in the seat, that was a rush.
Absolutely, it was still trucking along. I got to say, Sue and Tom Motry, Bill Savickas, Austin Rader, his father Tom, Steve, all the guys that come with us, Colin, they do all the work on this thing. They make it so it repeats every run. Nothing falls off. We don't shut it off on a starting line. It doesn't leak. It's a good, safe car. I have no worries about getting into it whatsoever. and they're flawless.
They give you the best seat in the house.
Oh, for sure. I get all the fun. They do all the work.
I bet you probably do some work as well. Well, man, what a blast to get acquainted with you better, and seeing you at the first Chaos, and then you've been at the last one that we ran. And of course, there's much more to come, and we hope schedules allow you and the Drastic Plastic team to be there as many times as you can. You're always welcome, and Lee, if you got any more questions, I'll throw it over to you. But Mark, I just want to say how much I've enjoyed getting acquainted with you here tonight on the show, as the fans get the opportunity to hear from you as well.
Thank you so much, and it's just, I'm grateful for what you guys do for the sport. Without people that get it out to new people that haven't been maybe to the races or haven't seen a Chaos race, if we can get them there one time, they'll come back.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, just as Kirk Williams says, our current points leader in Funny Car Chaos, he says it was so nice to see Mark again. So the Chaos family certainly wants to see you and Drastic Plastic once again, whenever that can be. And thank you for making an appearance here tonight on Chaos Live.
I really appreciate you guys having me. Congratulations to the Brutus guys that won the B field, Chris Batty that won the C field. I know how they feel, because I feel just as good as they do, and they feel just as good as I do. So it was an awesome race, and loved being there.
Phenomenal, man. Have a great night, and hope to see you at the track soon.
You will.
All right.
Thank you, Mark. All right, well, folks, we're going to take a quick break. David, we got some breaking news. I've got to image the show right after the break, so you all stay with us. Hit that like button. Right after the break, some breaking news that we just had on the Nitro Chaos Facebook page.
Chaos Nation, whether you are near or far, you can finally represent Funny Car Chaos wherever you are at. TheChaosStore.com is the place to visit to get your merch from the world's only Outlaw Funny Car series. And there's even exclusive deals online, as in the 3 t-shirts you are seeing right now on your screen. But it's more than just the tees. You can get your Funny Car Chaos stickers, hats, beanies, everything else. World of Funny Car Chaos there at thechaosstore.com.
Well, David, it is official. War Wagon is going to be there. We've already got the 2 call outs lined up. Here it is. War Wagon will go up against Joe Haas in that beautiful funny car, and also Jody Austin in his Bushwhacker fuel altered at Nitro Chaos.
Wow, that is fantastic news. We got that little kind of scoop on it from Wes a little bit earlier, that the War Wagon would be there, and to get that confirmed by Shane Ferris, and now you've got it up on the screen, so it's on Facebook now, so it's got to be the truth, right?
That's right. It's Facebook official. Young couples, that they get to that point. Are we Facebook official? We're real. Like, we're going to let the world know. Well, we're letting the world know it's Facebook official. The War Wagon will be going up against these people that have called them out. I just have to wonder at this point, like, who's going to call out anyone else? Someone needs to call out Brian. Someone needs to call out. Someone needs to step up and call out Megan Meyer. Like, someone, please do it. Have the gumption and call out the 2-time champ in a combination that we have not seen as of yet in Nitro Chaos. Someone do it.
I fully expect that's going to happen. We just have to kind of hide and watch. I heard there's funny the things that you hear and that you think you hear. And of course, we were talking with the pilot of the Drastic Plastic, And it just, I thought I heard somebody say one time, Drastic Plastic. That'd be a pretty decent name for one of the plastic fantastics for Funny Car Chaos. You know, Lee, we talk about it all the time that rule number one at Funny Car Chaos and in the Chaos Nation is to have fun. And I got to tell you, brother, it's often a lot of fun hanging around with you at the races and on this show. Thanks for everything that you bring to Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos. You know, race fans, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, you ought to go on over there because Lee's putting out great content, and you're missing out if you're not there. So go on over to that YouTube page and be sure to subscribe because new things are coming out all the time. And my partner here, the Monday Morning Racer, is bringing it his A game all the time. So thanks, Lee.
Well, I appreciate that, David. And look, it has been great and also an honor to work with you. You're definitely a professional, and it makes it that much easier to do a show like this when we are able to get on together and do it live. And it is a pleasure to hear you on the mic as well. I really think you're one of the top out there in the nation. Interestingly enough, I'll announce it here. I've got a funny car race that I'll be announcing in a couple of weeks, not a Funny Car Chaos event. I already asked Chris. He said it's okay. And I'm going to go up to Keystone and announce a Great Lakes Nostalgia funny car race. First time I'll ever be on the mic. Looking forward to that. That's going to be interesting. So I'm going to be calling you later on and get some pointers, man, because you do such a great job. And look, Warren Evans, the man behind the stream, phenomenal job. James Armstrong, usually the guy that is turning the camera, doing a great job. Got some fascinating, yes, but high quality people working in and out of Funny Car Chaos, and there's no telling where the Chaos Nation will be next. I know this. It's going to continue to grow, though.
We are so excited about each new fan that comes on board. And, you know, like I mentioned just a little bit earlier, there's only two kinds of people, those that love Nitro Chaos and Funny Car Chaos and those that haven't been yet. So if you haven't been yet, get on the Facebook and on the funnycarchaos.com, find out where the next race is, and you be sure to get there.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in right here to Chaos Live, and we look forward to seeing you at the track next time. Mocan, be there. And to get you hyped up for it, the promo. Good night, everyone.
It's our 60th birthday at Smokin' Mocan Dragway, and we've got a nitro-fueled party you can't miss. Friday night and Saturday, July 15th and 16th. Join us for Nitro Chaos. It's a header flaming showdown for $35,000 in prize money. Plus, meet the legend himself, special guest Big Daddy Don Garland, and see his Swamp Rat 12 Fueler burn nitro both nights under the lights. Visit MocanDragway.com for more info, and we'll see you July 15th and 16th at Mocan's 60th birthday bash. Nitro dragsters, alters, and funny cars of all kinds from all across the country are ready to rumble, and you gotta be there. This event is presented by DMP Onyx, Twisted Shifters, 360 Steel, Wulff Pumps, D's Nuts, Lug Nuts, and CCCAgency.com.